Hello from the brutal capitalist dictatorship of Kuala Lumpur. I hope you're having an amazing day, because if you're having an amazing day, well, I'm having an amazing day. And if I'm having an amazing day, well, you too should be having an amazing day. Okay, today's topic is gonna be on freelance work. Are you ready? Let's talk. Okay, those of you who know me well know that I'm a freelance teacher. I teach IGCSE English as a first language, English as a second language, IELTS, the International Language Testing System for adults, as well as business English and literature. So I'm sort of like a jack of all trades, yeah? Now, I wasn't always a freelance teacher. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even a teacher at the start. I started working life as an editorial assistant, working for my dad's friend's engineering company. Got a bit of experience there, and then moved on to the corporate world, right, where I manage clients, right? And then, after my company closed down, not through any fault of my own, mind you, if they just listened to my advice, they would have stayed afloat. But unfortunately, the new manager was too pig-headed and, didn't get along with me. So, yes, my good advice was disregarded. My good words were always disregarded. Anyway, I then moved into the school system to become an English teacher, right? I trained to be an English teacher, and I became one. So, teaching is perhaps what you could call my calling, because I find that teaching is really the job that gives me the most satisfaction. And it happens to be the job where I feel most valued as well, right? But after a while, you start to realize that when you're working in a school system under capitalism, you are literally living in Milton Friedman's world, right? Because you, as a teacher, even as a headmaster, are just a puppet of the useless pencil pushers who control the system, right? Especially in the private school, but also in government schools, right? So, until the workers have seized the means of production, and where teachers don't have to answer to useless pencil pushers, like those board of directors' relatives, board of directors' sons and daughters, I have decided to boycott the school system until they start listening to the teachers, the educators, the experts in their subject matter, right? So, I'm boycotting the school system. But that doesn't mean that I'm not teaching, because I still teach, right? Because students' parents have been coming to look for me these past few years to teach their children. And I also went freelance because I wanted to work on my YouTube channel, and I didn't feel it was fair to devote time to my YouTube channel while teaching full-time, because, if you're teaching full-time, your priority should really be on the students, right? And so full-time teachers would find it very difficult to run a YouTube channel at the same time, because all their time is spent on lesson prep, marking, examination preparations, extracurricular activities, and event preparations, things like sports day and Christmas parties and all that. So yeah, I'm freelance. I really hate bureaucracy, by the way. I don't like bureaucracy, and I don't answer well to authority. In fact, I don't even act like an authoritarian. I've never acted like an authoritarian with students. I hate that. I get every student to call me comrade. So anyway, I'm not here to bitch about my unfair treatment at the hands of my new manager in my old workplace, who was also my office nemesis, promoted over me. But I am going to tie it in with today's video, right? Okay, we're passing by a school. This is what a government school looks like. See, no skimpy attire, guys. No tank tops. I can't enter. Okay, right. Today, anyway, recently I was talking with a friend, right? And I was talking with this friend of mine who said to me, you know, Christopher, yeah, that's my real name. Why don't you apply as an English lecturer? Sorry, it's hard to run and talk at the same time. You know, multitasking is not my strong suit. In fact, it's not most men's strong suit. But let's continue. She said, you know, Christopher, why don't you apply for a job as a lecturer at one of the colleges, you know, like Tar College or University Malaya, one of those local colleges, because you know you're wasting your potential, right? If you don't apply for a position as an English lecturer, if you just spend your days doing freelance work, right? You know, my knee-jerk reaction was to tell her to mind her own damn business, but you know, I have learned to hold my tongue these last few years because I found that having a sharp tongue doesn't make me a lot of friends. In fact, it makes me lots of enemies. And I'd rather not make any more enemies than I already do, right? Yeah, I'm notorious for having a sharp tongue. I'm very blunt, very straightforward, but I'm not a mean person. I don't think I'm a mean person. I'm just very honest. So, you know, like most people in this hypocritical world we live in, I just played nice and I said, oh, well, you know, I don't really want to commit myself to any company or any organization because I really like doing what I do and I am trying to build up a YouTube channel, right? And she said, no, you must have job security because, you know, in this day and age, right, it's very hard to get a job. But I'm astounded by the sheer number of people even today who still believe that if you have a 9-to-6 job or a 9-to-5 job, you actually have an iron rice bowl, right? And that if you're a freelance worker, your pay is unstable. Nothing could be further from the truth. And as a matter of fact, freelance work is actually more stable than working for a company. And by the end of this video, I hope to have convinced you on this point. Now, first of all, if you have a 9-to-5 or 9-to-6 job that you like, and you have a reasonable boss, this video is not for you, right? But I take it that most of you work for someone that you don't like and always walk on eggshells not to piss off that person, right? So, if you are, and you feel that this has to be your life forever, keep watching. So, if you're thinking that you will have unlimited security on a 9-to-5 job, if you just keep your head low and do your job, you are sorely deluded, my friend. And I'm sorry I have to shout because I'm running in the city center, so it's very loud. I have to shout to get my point across, right? But you are sorely deluded in thinking that if you've signed a job contract, right, that there is no way for your rice bowl to be broken, because there is. First of all, have you ever heard of a thing called retrenchment? Yeah. When workers, you know, have become too productive, right? And they produce too much surplus value, you know, and to the point that the company or the boss needs fewer workers, or when the workers, for example, when for example the economy is not going so well and the boss needs to cull a number of people, what do you think they call it? Yes, they call it retrenchment, right? So, what makes you think that you, my friend, will not be retrenched? There is no guarantee that just because you have a 9-to-5 or 9-to-6 job that you won't be retrenched, right? And furthermore, you know as well as I do that capital, the means of production, is a form of power over the laborer. The laborer only sells his power, his labor power. That's the only thing he has to sell. But the capitalist can buy it, and the capitalist can also, basically decide to replace you whenever he finds a worker who is more submissive or agreeable, or things like that. What makes you think that your boss today will not replace you tomorrow? Because as I've said, there's no need for you to be grateful to your boss any more than he needs to be grateful to you. You guys are just using each other, right? It's a parasitic relationship of sorts, but more parasitic on his part because he's basically profiting off your labor. But what makes you think that if the capitalist, unless he's some saintly person, if he discovers a worker who can produce more surplus value, right, than you, and is more agreeable and clicks better with him, what makes you think that he will not replace you in a heartbeat? Oh, you say, he can't do that because, you can't just sack people willy-nilly. You've got to have a good reason to dismiss them. That's the law, right? You naive little fuck! It's not the law. I mean, it is the law. But there are always ways to circumvent the law in the boss's or the capitalist's favor, right? There's such a thing as constructive dismissal. Go look up the word constructive dismissal. That is when basically they make life so miserable for you and they make it so impossible for you to stay that you quit on your own accord. They get ultra abusive with you maybe, or they overload you with work, or they post you to a remote, far away place, far away from your family on purpose, in order to get you to leave. And they would be within their rights to do so, you see, because they're not actually sacking you, they're simply constructively dismissing you, and they can maintain plausible deniability, and another thing is, surely not everybody you get along with at work. I mean, not all of your colleagues are people that you like, right? Not all of your colleagues are people that you get along with. What if, in the unfortunate circumstance that your colleague gets along, the colleague who hates you gets along better with your boss, and in turn, the manager promotes him or her over you, directly over you, and that person has direct power over you? Do you think your rice bowl is going to be so secure then? No, it isn't, right? I speak from personal experience here, okay? Because workplaces are full of nepotism. Sometimes useless pencil pushers can actually get where they are because they happen to be related to the boss. That it is not crony capitalism, it is capitalism. That's how capitalism works. Don't you understand? There's no such thing as clean capitalism. Anyway, the point is this: when your nemesis gets promoted over you, good luck in expecting any promotions from your nemesis. Surely he or she might not dismiss you, but he or she might go out of their way to make your life miserable. And if anybody's going to be promoted or anybody's going to have a negative performance review, guess whose it will be, huh? Right. On the other hand, if you're working freelance, you choose your clients and they choose you. In an office, in a corporate setting, nobody chooses anybody except the CEO. You know, it is the top authority's authority to hire and fire, right? So, you know, the manager does not choose those who are under him or her, and vice versa, right? So these places are very, very personality driven. You know, you don't have to be the best worker in the world, but if you get along with the right people, you will get promoted. That's how the real working world works. Not the real world, because it's not a meritocracy. Whereas if you work freelance, it is all based on your performance. Students' parents don't come looking for me because they like me. Not that they dislike me, but they don't even know me personally. But they look for me because of my steady track record of getting results, right? Getting the distinctions that the students need, or the high enough band scores for the IELTS to get into university. So when your clients look for you when you're freelance, they're not looking for you for personality. They're not trying to see whether you get along. Oh, that's a Tamil vernacular school. They're not trying to see whether you get along. They don't care whether you get along with them personally or not, as long as you get the results. You see, so working freelance, if you want to say capitalism is meritocratic, no, it isn't. But freelance work is the closest thing ever to a meritocracy, where you are judged based on the results you get, not whether you know so-and-so person or whether you get along with so-and-so person, you see. So that's it's partly why I don't really think... sorry, I'm running up a hill now. It's kind of a steep hill. Anyway, that's why, you know, if you lose that one job, working for a company is like putting all your eggs in one basket, you know. If you lose that one basket, all your eggs are gone, right? Or it's like putting all your rice into one bowl, to use an Asian idiom. Let's use an Asian metaphor. It's like putting all your rice in one bowl. If, let's just say, you lose that one rice bowl, you will be in strife. And if you know, it's not that easy, as my friend said, to find another job. Especially since, you know, employers are very wary about people who have left an old company because they think that person will be disloyal, and they're probably right, because there's no I don't think that I think employee loyalty is simply capitalist propaganda. Anyway, right, basically working for a company is risky because you're putting all your rice into one bowl. But what if your rice bowl breaks? Well, if you work freelance, you have several little rice bowls. But if one rice bowl breaks, let's say one client leaves you, and I've never been abandoned by a client. I've never had any students' parents walk out on me, unless their children have graduated. So, with those several rice bowls, if one of them breaks, it's okay. You can keep your other 6, and at least you won't starve, right? If I lose 1 or 2 students, right? Well, not that I want to lose them. I respect them as people, and I treasure them as friends in a way. But if I do lose my students, 1 or 2 students, it wouldn't be the end of the world to me, because I wouldn't have lost my job, you see. And yeah, you see what I mean? So yes, in the early days it may be tough getting your name getting your name recognized. But at this point, I'm not even accepting any more students because my schedule is full. You're wondering why I'm running on a Thursday, because Thursday is my only off day. Yeah. So that's the day when I can do stuff I like. It doesn't mean that you work less hard when you're freelance, but you actually get to control the type of work you do. In fact, I'm working harder now. No, it's not that Thursday is my only off day. Sunday is more or less of an off day as well. Yeah, but I do lesson prep on Sunday, so Thursday and Sunday are my off days. Yeah, but I'm working a lot harder now that I'm freelance than I was doing at companies, the companies I worked at. Because when you're at a company, you do a lot of busy work to keep yourself occupied, right? In order to justify the amount of time spent from 9 to 6. Because a lot of that work could be done between 9 and 1, and that's why the work day is simply too long. And there's no point in staying past 6 if you've done all your work. Unless you want to curry favor with the boss by pretending to work, you're not really working much harder, even if you stay like those Japanese salarymen. You stay till like 9 or 10 at night, if you're just sticking around doing busy work, right? So, yeah, I work a lot harder now that I am freelance, but at the same time, my job is a lot more secure than someone who works with a company, okay? I'm not belittling you, I'm just stating the facts, okay? So don't shoot the messenger, okay? Take it from me, I've had both types of experiences, and although yes, freelance, your salary as a freelance worker goes up and down, it fluctuates. You are safe from being the victim of a personality-driven dynamic, Let's just say that your manager doesn't like you, or somebody in the company who's related to the manager doesn't like you. You don't suffer from that dynamic. You will not suffer because you won't suffer from that dynamic because as a freelance worker, your clients are chosen. Your clients have already chosen you because they want your services, right? So that's about it for today, and thank you very much for attending my TED Talk, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.